Alright, hello everyone, my name is Ben Scorpion, and welcome back to the Reset Update, a day late and a dollar short. So, I'm not gonna lie, it's been a weird few last days of Destiny, because I'm sure as most of you had noticed, that after, a few hours online, the servers were taken down, because after some generally bad gameplay from what I heard, missing triumphs, missing seals, and missing catalysts, which generally could continue on, but I heard the game could continue on without those for a while. But I heard apparently there was just very bad connections. The game was nigh unplayable for a time. So they shut down servers. It was pretty much down for almost all of yesterday, if I recall. But to get back, everyone could go to work, come back, and Destiny is back on again today. So in case you are wondering why this is compressed, I'm just keeping it short. So, reset. So there is, of course, the usual things that happened. The strikes have rotated to the next one. It is currently the Scarlet Keep for our active Nightfall, including its Grandmaster mode, still available. The weapon is currently the Horror's Least, and in case you don't know, it is Arc Burn with a bunch of other modifiers of the usual Grandmaster variety of Unstoppable and Barrier Champions to keep it short. Now, as well, there's nothing new with Gambit. Currently in Crucible, we do have a Valor booster, which is available as usual, and also the Rumble that allegedly yesterday, the Rumble playlist wasn't available yesterday, but they have since fixed it, so now that is also available. And our rotator for this week is also Team Scorched. Apologies if there's a random weird cut there. My phone just randomly turned on Spotify and started playing music I definitely don't have rights for. So, yeah, in case there's a random weird glitch, that's why you didn't hear anything. So, as well, for King's Fall, we do currently have Under Construction Challenge, which I do believe is Daughter's Challenge. Master mode is strength-focused armor. Our rotator dungeon is prophecy, as well as the rotator raid being Deepstone Crypt. Of course, as usual, rotator Deepstone Crypt means all encounter challenges are active. Every gun is farmable because every encounter can be done an infinite amount of times. And of course, they have adjusted red border drop rates. So if there's a good time to start farming, it would be now, because until there might only be one more time that Crypt is the active dungeon until the end of the season and Lightfall comes around, so I'd recommend you just go for it now. Then into the Throne World, our rotation mission is currently the one, the Arrival, the first mission of the Witch Queen campaign. Spire has reset, of course, as usual. Valor Disciple, its challenge is Swift Destruction, which is first encounter challenge, in case you need that still. Now, going into Eternity as well, we do have, for our Eternity version on Legend mode, we do have Vex, Cabal, and Crota for those things as well, so in case you needed anything from there, that is currently a thing. Now, into the rest of the world, like I said, just keeping it quick and short. For Catch Crash, on our rotations, we do have I-1, which is the Heavy Shank boss. For our Legend Cyrus Battlegrounds, it is currently the European Dead Zone. And for our Legend Battlegrounds, it is Hellas Basin on Mars, the Mars Battlegrounds for the heist this season. And of course, there is no new changes to Seraph Shield. It is continuing as usual among those things. Now, speaking of seasonal stuff, we do have, of course, new seasonal quests. We're at week 8 of 10. So, we have Seraph Shield 3, which is completing the exotic shield mission Seraph Shield on legendary difficulty and defeating anywhere in the system, and defeating combatants with specifically precision damage anywhere in the system. I imagine this is supposed to say use revision 0. So, as well as that, and in case you don't have an upgrade module, I imagine it would give you Seraph energy like it has done before. And as well, complete Heist Battlegrounds without dying, or one legend without dying. That one should be already auto-completed if you've done it a bunch of times. As of Umbral Focusing Thing, which says focus Ikelos weapons at the Exo frame in the engram, which I believe is easy because you don't need Umbral energy for specifically one of the things, but aside from that, it is pretty cheap. You also have the Seraph calibration for calibrating pulse rifles, fusion rifles, and power grenade launchers. That's a weird combination, considering none of those weapons have a Seraph alternative aside from Revision 0. So I have no idea why that's the Seraph's calibration, considering that Pulse Rifles is only Revision 0. There's no Ikelos or Seraph fusion rifles or powered grenade launchers. So aside from that, rapidly defeating combatants and defeating guardians will award bonus progress. And we also have Gambit Ornament, which is basically just acquire the Gambit Ornament for Velis X if you don't know how. You need to play Gambit enough to reset your rank, acquire a Velis X, and then reset it one more time. You will get the access to the Velis X ornament. And you also have Trial by Firing Squad, which is winning multiple rounds of Trials of Osiris. You don't need to win the games, you just need to win specific rounds, and that will award you a free Trials of Osiris weapon. Not adept, not anything like that, but it is short and simple. Now, into the last thing of reset before we continue into Eververse, because like I said, I'm keeping this compressed, and we shall see. Now, for Banshee, we have Percy's D, which is a pretty solid Hake scout rifle, the first of its kind we haven't seen since back in year 1 of Destiny 2. A high impact frame Hake as well. Pretty solid rolls. I would definitely recommend this for PvE and even some PvP. I've heard some people actually slaying out with this, but of course, like I said, it's not craftable, so it's not its best form. Same thing with Lunalata, which is a stasis, I almost said scout rifle, that's bow, which has actually some unique rolls, and I'm not gonna lie, this one with headstone is nice. I've used one a few times. I would definitely recommend it for a build, and of course, anti-barrier is active, so you can use that in endgame content. Then of course we have funnel web, which the roll it's got is pretty much the god roll that you can imagine for. You might want to trade frenzy for something in case you don't like how frenzy works, but you know, there's of course many people's god rolls and opinions. Everyone says this is the best gun that has ever been just because it's the replacement recluse, but I personally hate it. Then we also have Galu RR3, an Amalon sniper rifle, which has the PvE and PvP options. I'd honestly say this is more of a PvP, just because with Harmony on it, final blow with something else might actually make this a potential one-shot. I'm not sure how that actually works, though. I know they've eliminated most one-shot cheeses, like the way that aggressive frame hand cannons with Rampage is just a single stack of it would make a 2-tap or something like that. Then we also have Typhon GL5, which is a stasis grenade launcher, one that I really wish was craftable, but is not. So many of its good rolls come around every now and again. Chill Clip can work for a stasis build. Stats for all is pretty meh, just because it's, you know, not great at all for DPS. And speaking of DPS, we have Taipan 4FR, which is, as the usual, anytime this comes around, craftable. So I would recommend that unless you're just doing a bounty or literally just need to bring one, you somehow don't have a Taipan that you can craft yourself, I recommend that you just craft this one yourself, make the roll that you want, which will likely be triple tap firing line, triple tap focus fury, clown cartridge focus fury is something along those lines for Taipan. Now, getting into the Ever Restore, like I said, just as a heads up, there is a chance that I might keep compressing the videos into one video reset as opposed to several ones because there is less going on. Of course, the season wrapped up. We'll have the season finale in the last few weeks of the season, but aside from that, into Bright Dust, we have Neo Pop Wave, a shader from Season of the Worthy, Season 10, which is one of those ones that I actually kind of like the appearance of. I do like the color scheme. I do like that cyan turquoise look, and I do think it looks pretty good guns, but people are a hard thing. You also have the Vex Incursion entrance, which is another one of those shaders that Bungie brings around. They say they're new, but it's literally just a recoloring of an old transmat. Then we also have the Winning Streak from Season, what is this? Season of the Risen, which I believe is supposed to be a Tron, part of the Tron set, if I don't recall. I was going to say this is Guardian Games, but this actually, thinking about it, is part of the Tron Sparrow and stuff. Then we also have an emote from this season, which is Dance Off, which is, wow, that was very underwhelming. For an exotic emote? Yeah, no. I know that's a reference to something, but no, that's not worthy of being an exotic emote. We also have Warbrick, a shader for Season of the Drifter, which is a pretty solid look in case you wanted to be menacing. Lots of dark tones, a little bit of blood red. Pretty solid for an idea. Same thing with Bloody Tooth, which is weird because they are functionally pretty similar. Dark tones, blood red look. Looks a little bit better on my armor than it does with guns, and I think Warbrick honestly looks better on the guns than it does with armor, if I'm not mistaken. So one's a gun shader, one's an armor shader in the end. We also have Heat Shielded from Season of the Risen, which is a pretty cool one because even though it might not do it for most of your armor, on my gun it does give it a sort of a texture effect that almost makes it look like a spacesuit look, if that's the right word. It looks fluffy. Then we also have Tide Smoke from Season of the Haunted, which is another very dark shader. Good for a menacing look in case you want it, or just is solid dark color. Then we also have the Jade Coin effects for Transmat from Season of the Drifter, popping out of the Drifter's Jade Coin. The Dark Blade effects, which is basically from a sword stabbing in the ground and spawning out of it. And the Loot Chest effects from the same season, Siege of Opulence, popping out of a chest and saying hello. Then for the big ticket items, we have the Camping emote from Season of the Undying, the first season in year 3 and the first of a long time. Man, I don't recall seeing this emote anywhere. Huh. That's funny. I'm actually gonna wait. Actually, maybe pick that up later. Then we also have Dastardly Stash, an emote from Season of the Arisen, which is you showing off a evil villain stash, but then it fades and that's it. We also have the Stand Up pose from this season, which I have no words. Then we have the M3D1 Angelos from Season of the Splicer, which if I recall, this is supposed to be a part of a medic set that was back during that season. So it's kind of like an EMT. Obviously, it looks like got a medic theme, but it's supposed to be kind of feature ambulance medic sort of look going on. And then for our armor sets, in case you wanted the arc set for any of your characters, the boots are currently available for all 3 classes. So if you want access to any of them, I would recommend you go ahead and get them. If you want to see them, go see them yourself, because somebody complained about these last time about me showing one but not the other. Guess what? They're available on all 3. Just go and find them yourself. Then we also have the 3 glowing dawns for the weapon ornament, which is basically a opulent look for Trinity Ghoul, which I know Trinity has become a fan favorite since its catalyst made it kind of OP for ad clearing. But when you actually look at its ornaments, it seems to be very stiff. Like, here, where's bows? When you look at Leviathan's Breath, let's see, where? Well, it's not going to be there. But when you look at the difference between this one, the Bad Dog ornament for Leviathan's Breath, it adds bones to it, adds color, even changes the arrow shaft a bit. And then you see the Grimmest Hunter, which is similar in its idea, but it does change it completely. The arrowhead looks different. The weapon itself looks different. And then you look at all of the versions of Trinity Ghoul. So the Tangled Outrider, it looks a little bit Tangled Shore themed. And then the Tertiary Objective, it looks camo themed, not much different. And then you have the Spark from Bone, which does give it a little bit of a change. It has the bones as a part of its limbs, but then it's also not that great looking still. And then you have this one, which is just Trinity Ghoul, but a little bit nice color. So I would like an ornament for Trinity Ghoul that does more than just change its color, is what I'm saying. And then aside from that, the last thing was, well, I don't know why I'm bothering checking, because it's another ghost projection, this time the Nemean projection from Season of the Lost, to go with the Nemean Lion set that was pretty much the Eververse set that season. This has been The Reset. My name is Matt Scorpion, and I'll see you in the next one. But before I actually go, I wanted to reiterate, there's a chance that Reset and Eververse videos, they might stay separate. It might compress into one. You know, that's how it goes sometimes. At the end of the season, there's just not that much to cover. And then as well, there is the season. It has pretty much wrapped up aside from the finale, so I will be covering that once it comes around. But aside from that, it is just the Reset, Eververse, and TWABs, and any other video content I can think of going forward for the rest of the season until Lightfall. With that, my name is Matt Scorpion, and I will actually see you in the next one.